Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Now, my next guest, I've been spruiking it since we kicked off at 8 o'clock, is a great friend of mine. He's live on the line all the way from Adelaide. He is the host of Legends with Bevo, and it is the one and only Bevo himself, Mr. Bevan Jones. Hello, mate. Welcome
James,
to the
great to be with
show.
you again, mate. Thank you for that introduction.
Look, no worries. It's all pre-recorded. And how are you, my friend?
Yeah, going well, thanks. How are you? Great to be on again.
Good on you, good on you. And I know you've been very, very busy. And when we last spoke, we were talking about your podcast a lot and all the different guests that you've had on. And the podcast, it's gone gangbusters, and it's had some what do we call it? Almost like an upgrade in a way.
Well, speaking of upgrades, mate, you were on there, so it's definitely gone to another level.
yeah, I did it. Yeah, it was me. But it's gone to community TV, which is free to air TV still in Adelaide.
Yeah, spot on, and soon to be on Channel 31 over there in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Your Melbourne audience, which is wonderful, mate. I'm really stoked about that, and just a bit of luck and a bit of sort of reaching out to both Channel 44 here in Adelaide and Channel 31 over there in Melbourne, and yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
Because I must say, when I shot the podcast with you, you will recall that I was looking around the studio going, this is unbelievable. This is like a TV studio in here. So it's very well produced and well edited, very easily accessible to be straight onto the TV screens. Yeah,
that's what I thought as well, mate. It's not, obviously I really enjoy the interviews, but it's not about me, it's about the guests and, yourself included. You're on Channel 44 very soon and on Channel 31 in the future as well. And, yeah, like you mentioned, I thought, well, we've got this great content, excellent guests. The setup is just, like you mentioned as well, like it's TV quality. So why not reach out to Channel 44 and Channel 31 and the like and give them this free content, which is, they're always looking for great local content to, put on their screens, and there's not much editing to do. So I think they've pretty much eaten it up from that perspective. So
yeah, absolutely, and exactly like you said, why not, and give it a bit of more exposure, an even bigger audience out there.
Yeah, and that's what I thought as well, James. I thought, it's really been doing this for nearly 5 years and love the interviews and love chatting to different people and hearing people's different stories. And I thought, well, why not get this extra publicity that's not costing me any money, it's not costing them any money, and with a bit of luck, maybe someone from Channel 7, your 7 mates, or 9 Go, or one of those ones, one day might pick it up. And
you never know, mate. You never know,
exactly.
Because there's a lot of shows out there that have started that way on community TV in the past and have landed some success on commercial television eventually, and that's just the way it starts. So how are they packaging up the show? Is it a half-hour episode?
Yeah, exactly, half-hour episode, so you've got your adverts in between as well. And, I must admit, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but just watching it, it's so professional, and they've done a great job at Channel 44, and I'm sure Channel 31 will be exactly the same. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And in terms of the guests, Bevo, you've had some magnificent guests on your show. When they air it, are they alternating between your sports and your comedian guests, or how does it work? Is it sort of one of each every week?
Yeah, spot on. Just last year I decided previously it was a bit of everyone. I'd have, sport, community, comedians, people from radio, television, you name it. There was basically no filter. But last year I decided to make it a bit more niche and make it pure sport and comedy.
Yeah.
And I reached out to my audience again at the start of this year and asked them for their thoughts, whether it's just to make it pure sport. And they're like, no, we like the sport and the comedy side of things. So I thought, well, let's keep that going. And in answer to your question, at the moment, just sort of doing one a month and hoping to have, say, 6 comedians this year and 6 sports people. And maybe it all comes down to sponsorship, as you well know, James, yourself. Yeah. It's, ideally I'd love to do it every week or every couple of weeks, but just because it's mainly out of my own pocket and I don't sort of have those sponsors behind me,
of course,
I'm sort of cutting it back to one a month at this stage. But who knows what might happen in the future. But, that's the situation. It's just sort of 6 comedy this year, and we'll go from there.
And you've had some magnificent guests on the show in the past. Now, I'm openly admit that I'm not a great sports sort of follower. So I know that the sports guests that you have had on are fantastic. I might not know them, personally myself in terms of what they've done, but I certainly know the comedy sector of people that you have had on the show. And you've had, people like George Capignaris, Tahir, Joe White. You had Lawrence Mooney as well, didn't you?
Yes, well, and Jared Gandrew, who's a real up-and-coming comedian
so many
over
more
there in Melbourne.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. And Dave O'Neill as well. He was fantastic.
Dave O'Neill, of course. You had Dave O'Neill on. So you've got you've got some really big names, and then you got people like me as well. But
and how can I forget as well, Chris Franklin, the man himself.
Chris Franklin. You see what I mean? Like the names just continue. Was it hard? Look, it's not hard to get me. I don't even have management, but these other people, was it hard to get some of these names, or were they very easily and humbly, jumping on board?
I've been asked this question a little bit lately, and it is a really good question, James. It's been a combination of things. Because I was a radio announcer, commercial radio announcer back in the day, and had my own breakfast show in regional SA,
Yep.
I was able to get a lot of great contacts from there, and also a bit of producing I did in commercial radio back in the day, so had some contacts from that.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest with you, a lot of it's been reaching out to people on social media. LinkedIn's been really good, because LinkedIn's one of those things where, it's the wonderful thing about LinkedIn is that it's not like, how to explain it to you, like it's very professional. It's like almost, people can look at people's CVs and from the electronic perspective and see what they've been doing. And so, for example, if I say reach out to George Capignaris, he can go and say, look, Bevan's actually legit. He's got all this experience. He's had all these guests on. So rather than just like a random contacting you out of the blue, sending you a text message and you're like, who the hell is this? It must be spam. LinkedIn actually is a really good way because it's so much more professional. So LinkedIn's been wonderful, and particularly during the COVID period in 2020, George was one of many who I reached out to, and they just were bored at the time, so they were just happy to come on for a chat. And so they're probably some of the main ways. But one thing I can sort of say to people that are looking to start a podcast or existing podcast is there, James. One thing I must admit is just never be afraid to reach out to people, and like you reached out to me, which I was really grateful for.
Did,
and,
yes.
And because at the end of the day, we're all human, and if people don't respond, well, so be it. You just move on to the next one, don't you? And you just never know where it's going to lead. And if someone asked me 5 years ago, some of the people I've been able to chat with, I would have been like, you've got to be kidding me. And that's just the case of mainly just reaching out to these people and not knowing them, but they're just happy to help out. And if you've got good content, and now I guess I've got a bit of a name for myself and I can drop some big names as well, then you're halfway there, aren't you? And that's half the battle.
Mate, you're absolutely right. I look at things that have happened in my life over my career, and there are certain jobs, certain events that I've been involved with where people have gone, oh, how did that come about? And the truth is, I just reached out. I reached out at the time, and like you said, the worst that can happen is they go, thanks, but no thanks. I mean, maybe it might disappoint you for a little while, but life goes on, and you move on to another contact or another project or whatever. But it was about reaching out. I mean, sometimes people can't know you exist until they hear about you directly. So you've got to do that groundwork.
So true. And mate, perfect example of that is recently I reached out to a couple of people I know from radio today who I've chatted with in the past, young Bray and Megs, and I sort of said to them, look, coming up to 5 years of doing my podcast, if you want, I'd love to sort of come on and chat with you on your podcast, so giving you some content there, and also, I can give you a bit of information if you wanted to do an article. And it turned out that they jumped at the chance, and Bray wrote a wonderful article. I can share it with your listeners or share it with yourself if no one's had a chance to read it. I recommend it. It's amazing. Not just because it's about me, but just the way that Bray wrote the article.
Sure.
And mate, just from doing that, it's been shared on LinkedIn, and I've sort of answered my questions quite openly and honestly. And Bray was asking me about the challenges of being a podcaster, and I said that it's really tough not going on reality TV these days, and these people that go on your maths and your bachelors and stuff, they seem to get a heads up ahead of, a gig on your listeners and what have you ahead of me, and that's like so frustrating. And And believe it or not, a couple of people actually shared this post or this article on LinkedIn, and now it's had a fair bit of publicity, which is wonderful, and I wasn't expecting that at all. So you just never know who's going to, jump on and have a listen or read your articles or whatever it might be. And I thought that was just a perfect, perfect example of just never be afraid to reach out to people, James.
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned maths because I was looking at the TV ratings of last night, and maths came in first once again. Almost 1 million viewers watching maths, 800,000 something collectively. And I thought to myself, and I put this up on my Instagram stories today, Bevo, and I said, this is the reason why this rubbish keeps coming back year after year, because people keep watching it. Just stop watching the rubbish, and then maybe we can get some genuine content on instead.
I could not agree with you more. And it's just every year it's the same crap, like it's a controversial dinner party or there's a cheating scandal, and the people on there, you can't tell me they're on there to try and find a partner. It's all about Instagram followers.
Of course it is. It's all one big script. I mean, the contestants openly admit that they're very produced on the show, very directed on the show on what to do. I mean, it's a drama show. That's what it is. It's not really a dating show. It's a drama show. It's a home and away made with real people. You know what I mean? It's not
100%.
And the thing is that it just keeps coming back because it's one of those shows that people watch because they love to hate it, and it just it fuels them. And some of my friends tell me, I know it's rubbish, but I can't get my eyes off it. But they go, it's rubbish. I go, yeah, but it's unfortunately you're adding to the ratings of something that shouldn't be rating anymore.
Oh, it does my head in, mate. And then you've got shows like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And you've got contestants from Maths and The Bachelor. It's like, hang on, they're not celebrities. Like James Liotta, he's a celebrity. George Capagnars is a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. Like, there's just these people that go on Maths and The Bachelor are not celebrities, or Love Island or whatever. And the world's gone mad, mate.
Yeah, it has. It really has. The TV world is out of control.
When I was a young lad, I want to go and get an autograph of my favourite football player, not of someone who's been on bloody Married at First Sight or The Bachelor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were lucky, and even I grew up at a time where these kinds of shows didn't exist.
Exactly.
They just didn't exist. There was nothing. Oh, look, there was Perfect Match. There was Perfect Match, which is a different kind of dating show. It was very comedic, to be honest. It was even looking back on excerpts of Perfect Match on YouTube. It was very comedic, and it was also shot in front of a live studio audience. It's a different style of dating reality show. But this is all like that. Perfect Match wasn't as heavily produced in this. It was off the cuff. They had questions, you didn't know what the contestants were going to say. They said all sorts of stuff. It was different. It was funny, but this stuff here is just toxic and awful.
Oh, just garbage, mate. And yeah, I honestly don't know why people are watching. And
I don't know,
thankfully,
mate.
There was a show last night called We Interrupt This Broadcast.
Right, yeah, I watched it. I watched it, and
it was good, wasn't it?
Look, it had some great moments. It was very reminiscent of. There's a couple of people in the show that I know. It was very reminiscent of Full Frontal and Fast Forward days. I do think, however, the letdown was that the canned laughter needs to go. The canned laughter of that show really does add nothing to it, and because none of it is actually shot in front of a studio audience. None of it.
It's not like Full Frontal, is it?
No, because they used to shoot 90% of stuff in front of a studio once, because I actually went to see Full Frontal in the audience when I was a kid.
Oh,
and you'd be there all night because they had to change sets and this and that. It was fantastic, but it was actually genuinely shot in front of a studio audience. You can tell this new sketch show, is highly produced, and it's just canned laughter. But the canned laughter doesn't work. The canned laughter, there's some really good concepts.
You need to tell your mate.
Yeah, I mean, someone put it best on social media last night. They said the canned laughter is awful because it's like you're telling us when to laugh. Let us decide, when we want to laugh within the sketch.
So Yeah, good point.
It would work. It would work much better if they just got rid of the canned laughter. I don't know why they settled for that, especially that none of it is filmed in front of a live audience. So where are they getting this laughter from?
I know it's like going to watch you do one of your comedy shows, and then no one laughs, and all of a sudden there's a bit of fake laughter that's played.
Well, that's right. That's right. I mean, it's exactly what I do when I put up my stand-up comedy bits online. I make sure I just dump some laughter in there, so they sound.
No, you're one of the best, mate. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, you're very, very kind, my friend. But yeah, look, I hope it does well because we need more comedy on TV. So I hope it grows a little bit more. Some great concepts there, some great performers in it, but I wish they'd just get rid of the canned laughter. That's the only letdown for me at the moment.
The biggest question I've got is when are we going to see James Liotta on there?
Well, I don't know. You won't see me on that show because that's all bloody done and dusted for 10 weeks, but you will see me on a show called Local Council with Paulie Fennick and George Capanaris.
Yeah.
That's coming to Seven Mate in April. So
yeah, beauty.
So we're looking forward to that. But we're looking forward to seeing Legends with Bevo on community channels of... is it still 44 in Adelaide?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah,
so 44 in Adelaide, 44 here in Melbourne, which is a little bit confusing because it's called Channel 31 for us, but it's on
31,
Digital 44. So it's an odd one. They never when they moved to digital, they never rebranded it. But anyway, it's Channel 31 on Digital 44, free to air. Every television can get it these days, so there's no excuse. Now, tell us, if you're in Adelaide, I know it's coming to Melbourne, the season is coming to Melbourne at a later date, but if you're in Adelaide, what day is it on and what time?
Yeah, so 5 p.m. every Monday night in Adelaide.
Yep.
And your good self, James, you'll be on very, very soon on the 13th of March.
13th of March, Monday night. So we're urging every single person listening from Adelaide, I don't know how many there might be, but whoever you are listening from Adelaide, Monday the 13th, 5 p.m, you switch your TVs to Channel 44 in Adelaide.
Spot on, then it's repeated as well on Saturday nights at 8:30. So,
and then at Saturday nights, you don't do anything, you don't go out, you switch your televisions. 8:30.
No,
there you go.
I appreciate, mate. I'm sure that the 2 followers that I have really appreciate it as well. So.
Hey, Bevo, it's great to catch up with you. We've got to keep things moving here on the show, but congratulations on getting the podcast onto TV screens, and hopefully it keeps going up and up, and we'll give it a good spruik again when the Melbourne season starts.
James, you're a legend, mate. Thanks so much for getting me on the show, and love your work, not only with the stand-up stuff, but everything you do with social media and your radio show as well. You're a gun.
Thank you, mate. You're very, very kind. Pleasure to be collaborating with you as well. Good luck with it all. I'll chat to you soon. Bevo from Legends with Bevo.
Thanks so much. Have a great night, and all the best to you and your listeners as well.
See you, mate. Take care.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.